to Windsor, Nova Scotia, where the RCMP giving us an update on the search for people who've gone missing after historic flooding over the weekend. Let's listen in here.
Nous passerons ensuite une période de questions et réponses.
We will then go to questions. Sergeant Rappersel, Superintendent of Operations in West Hants, is present and will be able to answer questions if you have any.
Chief Superintendent Black, I invite you to the podium. Superintendent Principal Black, je vous invite à prendre la parole.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Je vous remercie de votre présence and thank you
for being here.
With a very heavy heart, I can share that about 10:45 this morning, searchers recovered the body of a child in the primary search area in Brooklyn. I can also now confirm that the remains located yesterday in Kings County were also those of a child. Both are believed to be related to the 4 people who reported missing on July 22nd, when the region was experiencing extreme flood conditions. We are continuing to work with the Nova Scotia Medical Examiner's Office with regard to positively identifying the remains of both children. C'est avec le cœur lourd que je peux vous annoncer.
It is with a heavy heart that I must announce that at about 10:45 this morning, searchers found the body of a child in the main search area in Brooklyn. I can also confirm that the remains found yesterday in Kings County were also those of a child. We believe that these 2 children are related to the 4 people who were reported missing on July 22nd during the extreme flooding. We are continuing to work with the Nova Scotia Medical Examiner's Office in order to positively identify the remains of these 2 children.
It's a devastating time for the children's families, their loved ones, and their communities. And I want to extend sincere condolences on behalf of everyone at the Nova Scotia RCMP. C'est une période très difficile pour les familles des enfants.
This is a very difficult period for the families of the children, their families and community. I would like to extend my sincere condolences on behalf of all the Nova Scotia RCMP.
The families of the 4 who were unaccounted for during the flooding in West Hants have been at the forefront of our thoughts. Since
the beginning of the searches, the families of the 4 people who disappeared in West Hants have been at the forefront of our thoughts.
As we speak, the search to locate the last person, the missing youth, continues. En ce moment, les recherches se poursuivent pour retrouver
As we speak, searches continue to find the last missing person, a youth.
Ground search and rescue teams from West Hants, East Hants, Digby, Annapolis County, and Valley, multiple fire departments, RCMP Police Dog Services, Air Services, the Department of Natural Resources and Renewables, and private contractors have all been working together in the search efforts.
Search and rescue teams on the ground in West Hants, East Hants, Digby, the Annapolis County and Valley, Fire Services, RCMP, Air Services, Dog Services, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Renewable Energy, as well as private contractors, are all continuing to collaborate in our search efforts.
This afternoon, they remain focused on the primary search area in Brooklyn, where efforts to reduce the water level are continuing. Cet après-midi, il reste
This afternoon, they are focusing on the primary search area in Brooklyn and on their efforts to reduce water levels.
The expertise and dedication of the searchers, many of whom are volunteers working in extremely difficult conditions, is exceptional and reflects their commitment to serving others. The
expertise and dedication of the searchers, many of whom are volunteers, are working in difficult conditions, and it is exceptional, and it reflects their commitment to serving
I thank
others.
them for their tremendous work so far. Je les remercie pour leur travail considérable.
I thank them
jusqu'à
for their
présent.
tremendous work so far.
Sergeant Rob Frizzell is here, as mentioned by Chris. He's with West Hants District RCMP, and he's here with me to help answer questions, any specific questions about the search. Le Sergeant Rob Frizzell du district de la
Sergeant
GRC
Rob
de West
Frizzell
Hants
from the
est ici
West Hants
aujourd'hui pour aider à
RCMP
répondre
is
aux
here
questions
today
spécifiques
to
au
answer
niveau de la
specific
recherche.
questions about the search.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, I'll call up Premier Houston for his remarks. Premier.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. Another incredibly sad day in what's now been a series of terrible days in this province. Where the whole entire province is sick with mourning for the loss of 3 souls now. The tragedy that's happened here is really unimaginable. Really hard to comprehend, for sure. We can, in this province, we've shown we can handle a lot. We can handle a lot. We've had fires and the hurricanes and another series of floods, but this really doesn't compare. And I know that this is a time when words truly are meaningless, but I want the family to know how very sorry we are for their loss, and our sincere condolences. I also, I can continue to be amazed by the tireless efforts of our first responders. I can't imagine the emotions that they're feeling right now. They've completely heroic efforts we've seen from our first responders over the last 3 days, I guess, going on 4 days. So I want to thank them for their efforts, and we pray for the one remaining soul that continues to be missing. We'll pray for that soul and their family. Thank you.
Thank you, Premier. All right. We'll now proceed with the question and answer period. For the benefit of all participants, please provide your name, the outlet you represent, and to whom your question is directed. We'll be limiting the question and answer period to one question and one follow-up each. Nous allons maintenant passer à la période de questions et réponses.
Now
Pour le
going
bénéfice de
to
tous les
Q&A.
participants,
For the
veuillez
benefit
inscrire
of all
votre nom,
participants, please
l'organisation
indicate your
vous
name,
représente,
the organization you
et à qui
represent,
s'adresse votre
and to
question.
whom
Nous
your
limiterons
question
la
is
période de
directed.
questions et réponses à une question et un suivi.
Questions are limited to one
I
question,
guess
one follow-up.
First, we'll go to Sarah. We'll go to you first.
For RCMP, this question would be, I'm wondering if you could share with us, with any more details you're able to provide about where these vehicles were headed at the time. Were they evacuating? Were people leaving?
Rob, perhaps I'll. Yeah, Rob.
Thank you. Where it sort of happened as well.
Hello, thank you. Your question about where the vehicles were going?
Just more details about where the vehicles were trying to go, where they were swept away, who they were with.
Sure. The initial investigation from speaking with the people that survived from those vehicles, as well as the surrounding area, we reason to believe that they were fleeing their house. So they were leaving their residence, trying to get to a safe area, and that's when they were struck with the storm surge as they were leaving, and were kind of pushed off of the road into a field that then quickly flooded with water.
Can you see that?
Oh, Fred.
Sorry.
Are you able to provide us, I know this is sensitive, are you able to provide us names or ages of people?
Right now, we have spoken to the families and have let them know, but in consultation with the medical examiner's office, we're still deeming them tentative identifications. So I can't go into specifics of their names or anything else other than to say they were 2 children at this time.
Next.
Oh, French. En français.
En français. Alors, les personnes qui étaient dans leur véhicule au moment que les inondations sont arrivées dans la région quittaient leur maison pour se rendre à une place une place où il sera plus
They were leaving home
sauf.
and were on their way to a
Vraiment,
safer
c'était
place.
quand ils quittaient la maison que
It was at the time as they were leaving their home that the flooding started, and they were pushed off the road into a field where the vehicle was completely flooded.
Alan Smith, Global News. I guess, first of all, how big of a search area are we looking at now for the RCMP?
It's the question of how big of a search area we're looking at. So right now we've designated 2 zones. So we have what we call a primary zone. That was the area that we were trying to drain with water with that private company as well as the fire department. That water has been drained, and that search zone is now more of a methodical step-by-step zone. That's our highest likelihood area and where 2 of the 3 deceased were located. That's the size of an average field, I guess, several hundred square feet. Directly beside that, we call it a secondary zone or a higher probability zone. That area is also a field, and that is being drained with the province has broken some dikes to try and clear out water that way. And once that's lower, they'll continue the search in there. And then finally that search, the 3rd search zone, is going to be along the river, following up towards where the 3rd individual is located or potentially beyond. But those are our 3 main areas right now.
Can you give us any indication as to how close the 3 individuals were when you spotted them? I understand there's 2 separate vehicles here. How close were the individuals and how close were the vehicles when you found them?
Yeah, so 1 deceased was found quite some distance away on the shore in Kings County, but the other 2 that were deceased that were found in very close proximity, approximately 150 feet apart, and they would have been within 100 feet of the vehicles.
Anybody else?
Alors, pour la distance entre les véhicules
As for
et où
the
est-ce que
distance between the
les décédés ont
vehicles
été,
and where
localisés,
the deceased were
évidemment,
located,
il y avait une personne, un des enfants,
there
était
was
localisé
one
dans
person,
le
one of
comté
the
de Kings. Alors,
children
c'est quand même
in Kings County,
une assez grande distance entre
so that's quite far away.
All right, we're going to see if we can restore audio, but let me bring you up to speed on what's going on. So this is the RCMP in Nova Scotia. They are confirming the bodies of 2 children have been found in the aftermath of historic flooding that hit the province over the weekend. The RCMP saying this morning at 10:45 a.m. local time, search teams found the body of 1 child. Human remains found on Monday have also been determined to be that of another child. 2 children were reported missing from the same family. The body of a 52-year-old man was also found on Monday from Windsor, Nova Scotia. They were all traveling in a vehicle that was pushed off the road into a field because of all the flooding, and then that field was also quickly flooded as well. The search does continue for a 4th person who is believed to be part of the same family. That young person still missing, presumed also to have been swept away. The area saw 3 months worth of rainfall within just 24 hours. We do have audio back now from that RCMP news conference. Let's go back and listen in again.
There was only 4 people that we were aware of that were reported missing, basically. Obviously, we've had three people confirmed deceased at this point, and we're still looking for a 4th person, a youth that was reported missing on the weekend. Any other questions from anybody else?
Are you able to tell us what road they were traveling on? Were both vehicles on the same road?
What road they were traveling on, and both vehicles on the same road? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. About what route? Yeah, both vehicles were traveling on the same road in very close proximity. They were both driving around the same time, we believe, very close together in Brooklyn. And I apologize, but the actual number of the road escapes me right now. It's off Highway 14, but I'm struggling with the name right now. Sorry.
They were.
It's okay.
You say that both cars were driving down the road around the same time. Is there any other connection between the 2 vehicles?
Not that I'm aware of. No, it was just simply that both of them were trying to traverse that road at the same time.
And what time did this happen?
This happened in the early morning hours of Saturday. So I think the window was around 4 a.m., I think, at the time, Saturday morning, in close proximity there.
And I just wanted to clarify, they were both traveling in their vehicles on the road when it was the water that washed them off the road, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Can you give us an idea of just how strong water would have to be for that to happen?
I wouldn't really be able to speak to like the sheer force, other than to put it in context. When we first started the scene, there was a semi-truck that had also been pushed off of the road, so it would have been a full semi-truck with a fully loaded cargo, and it was pushed clean off the road as well. And the water level, it's normally a hayfield, it was above the top of that semi-truck. So the sheer volume of that water would be quite significant, but I don't have great specifics for you.
Suzanne Redd from the Examiner. Can you tell me, the people who were in the vehicle with the children, how are they doing? Did they suffer injuries?
The other people that were inside the vehicle were transported to hospital for assessment by, they were helped out by a bystander and then transported by an officer to a hospital. They were released. We followed up and are in contact with them. Obviously, my heart goes out to them of being in that situation and having their children. So they're doing as well as can be, but physically they're released and fine, but the mental part.
Carol, the people with that, like they were also in the vehicle.
Vehicles, yeah. At this time, I can't give you that specific part, other than to say both vehicles had multiple occupants.
We know that one of the vehicles was a pickup truck that was found in a flooded field. What kind of vehicle, like, was the other vehicle? Was it also a pickup?
Yeah, the pickup truck was a very large, I believe it's an F550. It's a very, very large pickup truck, bonks, and it was swept and moved. And the other vehicle was an SUV type vehicle.
Okay, we have time for one last question. So, Carol, you've had your hand up a couple times.
I would ask maybe the mayor's situation on the news today.
Just hang on one second. Carol, do you have a
No, I just wanted to, you had kind of alluded to this earlier about how deep the water was in the field of the primary area. Can you kind of give a better example of like how deep it actually was and how much you had to drain?
Yeah, I'm not really great with numbers, that part for you, other than to say the water was, I would approximate it at close to 10 feet tall, like above a semi-truck, like on all that height, and extremely wide, so several 100,000 liters. There were multiple pumping units set up with 12-inch, 6-inch hoses that were pumping tens of thousands of liters a minute of water to get that out. So it was an extremely significant, we call it like a lake worth of water to move.